And my initial schooling was the Rosary High School, which is a girls' convent. And
Girls' convent.
it is a girls' convent, a girls' school.
And how were you in that school?
Welcome to Susegaad Musings, the brand new talk show that's all about the sun-kissed, beautiful state of Goa. Co-hosted by Amit, Chopra and myself, Ryan Lobo, we talk about the real Goa by speaking to people who call Goa their home.
Oh, Panjim is a beautiful
It's a
place.
lovely place.
Paresh, you must be remembering Panjim of old. I think Panjim was one of the oldest planned cities, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. Panjim had the first municipality in the whole of Asia.
Full of all of Asia.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
I was
superb,
in the first
superb.
municipality. And if you see some places near Kampal and all, you know exactly what planning is. So
What do you mean?
after every two houses, you'll see a horizontal road there. You see the Kampal area.
Grid layout.
A grid layout.
A grid layout. A planned
And that is
grid
exactly how a layout has to be done. Vintage Panjim, as I remember, was fantastic. There was less vehicles.
lot of trees.
Lot of trees. And I used to stay very close to the creek, Orem Creek. So I got a lot of memories of Orem Creek. We used to walk down to school from Pata Colony to People's High School. We used to walk down.
The very first episode of Susegaad Musings features Paresh Pai. He is the founder of Heritage Prince's Real Estate Developers and is one of Goa's most trusted brands. He shares his views on growing up in the capital of Goa at a time where you and I will never get to experience again. Plus, he shares his views on the future of Goa. We prefer Paresh to share about it like only he can, so let's get straight into the talk show. So, thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Amit and I want to thank you for coming on our talk show. How are you feeling?
Pleasure is all mine.
Thanks, Paresh. Thanks for coming on despite not feeling that well.
Yes.
Slightly off the weather. But yet you still came because you have given us a word. So thank you.
You know, so you are known for construction, the Heritage Builders Group. But what you're really known for is quality of construction, which I learned of recently. But let's go back to the beginning. Like, how did you all start? Where did you grow up? Where were you born? Where did you go to school?
My family is basically from Karandale. We are basically from Karandale, the Miramar Karandale area. And my initial schooling was the Rosary High School, which is a girls' convent. And
So girls'
Is
convent.
now
it is a girls' convent, a girls' school.
And how were you in that school?
Because that is the closest school to my house.
So they were taking boys then?
Till second standard.
Okay, till second standard.
Second standard.
I was wondering in girls' school, so am I meeting somebody?
Till you don't realize the difference between the sexes. They used to take you. But that school, I remember that school.
you remember, even though you're only there till the second.
It was like Shantiniketan, to tell you honestly. A lot of gardens inside the building.
Okay.
I have not been off late to see the school, but I heard it's still the same. Third standard, I moved out. I did my later part of schooling in People's High School.
Oh.
And I passed out my 10th standard from People's High School.
So everything in Panjim itself.
Yeah,
You're
we
a
had to shift
Panjim
also.
City boy.
Yes, we used to stay in Pato area.
Panjim is a nice place to live, right?
Oh, Panjim is a beautiful
It's a
place.
lovely place. It's
Paresh, you must be remembering Panjim of old. I think Panjim was one of the oldest planned cities, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. Panjim had the first municipality in the whole of Asia.
oh, yeah.
Full of all of Asia.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
I was in the
superb,
first
superb.
municipality. And if you see some places near Kampal and all, you know exactly what planning is. So
Okay.
What do you mean?
after every two houses, you'll see a horizontal road there.
Ah.
You see the Kampal
A
area.
grid layout.
A grid
A
layout.
grid layout. A planned
And that
grid
is
layout.
exactly how a layout has to be done. Vintage Panjim, as I remember, was fantastic. There was less vehicles.
lot of trees.
Lot of trees. And I used to stay very close to the creek, Orem Creek. So I got a lot of memories of Orem Creek. We used to walk down to school from Pata Colony to People's High School. We used to walk down. And
In those days, did people swim in the creek?
no,
No.
maybe a few, but
Normally,
Because I mean, now you
creek water not.
Yeah, now you will never do that. But
No.
I know, like for example, in Bombay, there's one Meeti Nadi. Now, if you
Meeti
go,
Nadi,
it
yes.
is absolutely black, right?
Yeah,
But my friends' parents' time, they used to swim in that river. It was
no,
so
there was
clean.
a lot of silt in the creek.
Okay.
Orem Creek, there was a lot of silt. So somebody couldn't go there very easily.
Okay.
I don't remember anybody swimming in that water.
All right. Okay.
That time the Pato Plaza was not yet. It was all a swamp, complete
A
swamp.
marsh.
Oh yeah.
Marshy
So it was
land.
not just this, it was all marshy land.
It was a marshy
so Panjim,
land.
as I don't know, Ryan, whether you know this, Panjim is mostly built on reclaimed land.
Okay.
Not all, a part of.
No, the Panjim city area which we consider
Exactly.
right now, I'm not talking of the Karanzare Santanis side.
Okay.
I'm talking of, it used to end where this
Mamai
old secretariat was there,
Mamai
Mamai
Kamat.
Kamat's place, and a lot of water was there inside, coming inside till that
In
whole
fact,
area.
what they say, this I came to know lately. The name of the river Mandavi came from Mandabi.
What is that?
Our Adil Shah's palace, there is to be taxes collected there. So they had a dabi there where people used to pay the taxes. So it was Mandabi.
And what does that mean?
Man is honor. They used to.
Honorarium has to be paid. Okay.
So this was paid. So they say that name might have come from there, which might be true or.
Mandavi is also called Madehi in Karnataka and other
Madhavi was
places.
earlier.
So from there also it might be a change because of the Portuguese pronunciation
Yeah.
of the name or something of that kind. But it was interesting knowing Panjim was the first planned, first municipality.
Yeah.
You said.
Panjim was not connected to Ribandar.
It was not.
That causeway was built later. That's what my dad used to
That
always tell
causeway
me.
is one of the oldest
Yeah.
bridges,
Causeways,
right?
yes.
Yeah,
It's
not.
it is not a road, it's a
It's
causeway, it's a bridge.
It's like a bridge.
Yeah.
So there are pile foundation there. So earlier the Portuguese governor used to travel by boat from Old Goa to
Ribandar.
Cabo.
Okay.
Okay.
So that causeway was built later.
Okay. That's
So
an
you
interesting
see,
tidbit.
except for a few accidents of here and there's never been a problem with the causeway. I remember in my entire lifetime I have seen only one problem happening there. A part of the causeway had a crack developed. So it must have sunk. Otherwise the causeway never had a problem in.
It's almost 100 and some years old, right?
What are you talking? It's about 350 years ago.
The causeway is 350 years old.
The Portuguese were here for 450 years.
Yeah.
So when the Portuguese came,
Okay.
it must be much older than that.
I have heard that it was around 150 years old.
No, much more than that. 150 years means you are talking about 1875.
Okay, so a little change in topic. I'm interested from you're a builder. Your father was into
No,
he
my
was
father.
into a land
no.
survey,
My father was in surveys and
Okay.
he used to work for the PWD.
and your grandfather was also in similar field.
Similar field.
So I want to ask you, maybe many people
That
don't
time-
know, what is reclamation of land and how is it done?
See, reclamation of land was done in those days by filling the river or water by mud.
So basically,
there were
carry-
there were a lot of ways to do it. So they used to have, if you heard the name Bori Bandar, they were reclaimed Bori Bandar. What is Bori Bandar is? They had bags and they used to fill mud inside and they used to keep it.
Bandar is basically a
Band.
port.
Band.
So
It's
Band.
not a port. So Bori Bandar has come. Bori Bandar is that. No, it's reclaimed land. So similarly, they used to fill mud. It's like how they do now.
Yeah.
See, when Ifi was brought to Goa,
Yep.
even Parrikar has reclaimed some land. If you notice, but it was not by
The
concrete.
new Pato Bridge.
No. If you remember, if you must have come in 2003, 2002.
Okay.
I remember 2002.
Yeah, must be around that time.
Okay. Before that length or breadth, as you can call it, from the Dilcha Palace
yes,
Secretariat is not so big.
It has been widened.
Oh.
They have
Yes,
widened
after
it.
They have done a retaining
So
wall. And
they didn't put retaining wall. They had girders there, and that is how it was reclaimed.
Oh.
So as technology grew, they have reclaimed it like this. Earlier times they used to fill it with mud and they used to reclaim it.
I mean, in those days, I'm not even sure. They used to use manual labor, so there were no trucks, there were no
So
excavators.
I will give you a small example of this, of reclamation. You see Bombay, Mumbai as you call it. You see anything which has been reclaimed, get flooded today. You see Bandra, Andheri, it gets flooded. But something which has not been reclaimed, like your Mahim or Dadar,
Because it's
never gets
naturally
flooded.
over sea level.
Yeah.
These areas are little lower than sea level, which have been reclaimed, and there is the water is still seeps in through the ground level. We don't realize it. And
Exactly.
at time of high tide, the water that has to flow from out in to out doesn't do that. So flooding happens when there are rains at the time of high tide normally, right, Paresh?
Exactly.
So that has been a problem that has plagued Bombay and Goa both at times. I understand where you're
But
coming from.
Goa, we never had a problem with water stagnation. There were a lot of open lands.
Okay.
There were a lot of gutters. We used to call it a Khan system, if you
Khan.
Yes, I've heard about this a lot, especially in villages, even in
Even in
Panjim.
Karandale, there used to be a lot of Khan, which has been encroached on by the locals.
Khan means what? Gutter. What is a Khan?
After every 4-5 houses, there used to be one Khan, one small stream,
Okay.
Basically, these were natural, man-made waterways for
Exactly.
rainwater
So
to
they
go
were
through.
large.
Rainwater which was collected, okay, through those Portuguese gutters.
So, you know what used to be done? That you'll see still in villages like Asagaon. There are these Khans and
Right.
there are some natural ways of recharging water. So they have that tanks.
Canals, you can say.
There are canals.
They used to call
There are
it Khan.
underground tanks.
Canals. Okay.
And where the water goes and seeps into the soil in there. And then they have created
There was no
marshy
need.
areas.
There was no need for water this also there during that period because a lot of
Yet they
open
did
space.
this. Yet they did it.
A lot of open spaces were there, so rain is to get ingested into the soil.
But yet they did it as Amit said.
Yeah.
So
So,
they're
it's an
very
amazing
well
thing
planned.
which was done. Only thing I think which was not that well planned, and probably at that time they didn't require it. The sewerage systems were not that much.
Okay.
And Portuguese in Goa especially were more based on water based.
I'll tell you,
economy.
there is a reason for that. See, in those times, I've seen those times when I was a child, when I was a young boy. I have seen pig toilets.
Oh yeah. I think you're going to come to this.
So some people used to build a normal toilet, a pig toilet, but some people, like I remember our house, the toilet is so good that you are not coming in contact with the pig at all. So the toilet is so well built. Okay, I might have photos with me. Of course, when we built a new house, we demolished it in Karandale. There is a small way where there is a compound house on both sides. So the pig used to go behind the toilet. And the plinth of the toilet is so high, and there, the toilets were built in such a way that the pig is to enter from out back and go from there. So the pig never used to come in contact with you at all.
Yeah. So for people who don't understand they've never heard of this concept of a pig toilet, what is a pig toilet?
There's a nice song I remember of Remo. Remo has made a nice song on this. When I meet Remo, I'm going to take this song from him. I have not heard it lately. But this song was about when a pig sees a man, he sees him in the wrong angle. And the pig sings the song. So I should take this from Remo when I meet him next. But yes, pig toilets, it is to be clean. But of course, the traces will remain. They were not clean. Then the sewage system came, the septic tank system came.
Yeah. So basically a pig toilet is you do your business and the pigs consume it.
Pigs consume it. One section of the society had those pigs,
One section of society.
Yes, the Catholics had the pigs, no?
And what did the Hindus do?
The Hindus never had pigs. So the pigs used to come and they used to eat.
Oh.
The pigs never used
I
to...
didn't know this.
They
So,
were
so
not kept by the people who you had to
Hindus were not...
There were others who reared them. Even in Hindus, there were certain communities that reared them. And they had these pigs. that
Very
were kept.
little, very less.
Yes.
Very less.
so wait, were pig toilets only for
No.
only by Catholics? Or
No.
It was throughout.
Throughout. The pigs used to roam freely, no?
Okay. But then the Catholics are the ones who would keep pigs.
Yes,
Who would
they
rear
used to
pigs.
keep pigs. I remember, all this water which is waste product of rice. When you're preparing rice, the waste product, that has to be consumed by all those pigs. So, in our house, we have all that waste. So we used to give it to the neighbors.
Yeah.
So they used to they had this typical way of calling the pigs, and the pigs used to come, and then they used to serve them that. And so the pigs were maintained by them, those people.
I wonder, yeah, go ahead.
So that was how it was. Slowly things changed. The pigs went out of this.
Wait, if I may
don't
ask-
see many pigs now.
Yeah, you hardly see that.
Yeah.
What were the Portuguese doing? Were the Portuguese also using the pig toilets? Or?
No, some Portuguese who could afford it had already started building the septic tanks and the soap pits. Not everybody could afford it. No?
Yeah.
See, what had happened is, I don't know whether you know this, Panjim is a much later city. Original Panjim was built where Old Goa is.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, ahead of Kadamba, after Ribandar, the original settlements in Goa by the Portuguese were Diwar, Raibandar, Goa Vela little later on, but yes, Goa Vela was there, and the Old Goa area. So they had a plague at that time.
Yep.
And
1917 or something.
yeah, it
Spanish
rendered
flu?
that area unusable.
Wait, is this Spanish flu?
No, it
was
was a
much
plague.
before that.
It was plague,
It
nothing
was
to
a
do with
plague. It was a big
plague.
This is 400 years back.
Oh, okay. So, not
after
1917.
that, they built Panjim. It was called Nova Goa, not
Oh,
Panjim.
okay.
So Panjim name came a little later in. So, but it was called Nova Goa at that time when they built it. So New Goa.
See, Nova Goa. It was called Siddhartha Goa or Nova Goa? Yes.
Nova Goa.
Siddhartha Goa was basically Panjim was referred as Siddhartha Goa.
Really?
The citadel of Goa, basically. So they, the Adil Shah palace and things were reclaimed again. And actually, why they went and built, originally the settlement was near in Panjim.
Yep.
No,
But
Panjim
when
was in bits and pieces. It was not full.
Paresh,
They reclaimed
this is
some
an
land.
interesting thing that when this was Panjim was originally Adil Shah's summer capital.
Summer capital.
So
Exactly.
it was part of the Bijapur Empire. Before that, there have been various empires in Goa. Various it was the land of the Kadambas. Sonde Raja was here, and others. Last king was Sondekars, right? Sondekars. But
Before the Portuguese came.
yeah, before the Portuguese came, and they remained for quite a long time also, till they ceded their rights to them, and they still retained the title, but they ceded most of the rights to the Portuguese. However, this is an interesting thing. So when the original takeover by the Portuguese happened, Panjim saw a huge massacre. So of the remnants of the Adil Shah's the people or people who revolted against them, and because of the massacre, the Panjim was rendered unusable literally. So they didn't build where Panjim was. They went ahead and built a little more inside near Old Goa, Ribandar and
So
Diwar.
Panjim was unusual because there were no people?
Because of the dead bodies and this thing.
Sambhaji had come very close of reclaiming Goa from the Portuguese.
Yes.
He had come very close and maybe he would have done it. But he
They
was attacked.
there were other forces
There were attacks
attacking
and
him.
He
So
had to
withdraw.
flee back. He had to withdraw.
He had to go back, otherwise he would have lost his capital.
He had reached the Mandavi, by the way.
So this story is a little interesting.
From Apsa.
So I don't know whether you know. You know what is the meaning of Raya Bandar?
No.
Raya Bandar, port
Okay.
of kings.
Oh.
So it was where the nobility of the Portuguese used to come, disembark, and mostly stay. So it was known as the Raya Bandar. Raya
You must have
means
seen all
kings.
those houses now on the
Yes,
banks.
yeah.
So they were
Very rich houses there. So Raya Bandar was that. And Panjim then, because of the plague in Old Goa, then Panjim was redeveloped, reclaimed, because a lot time had passed with that. See, what happened with that massacre, a lot of dead bodies were there. A lot of animals, a lot of people had died. So that area, because of the diseases, they had become prone to disease, so they didn't want to settle there. So they say that so much blood had come there that Panjim turned red. So this is what the story is. I don't know about the truth. We were not there.
Yeah.
But this is what was recorded. And later on, when they resettled Panjim, it was done in a very planned manner. Grid layouts were there. If you see Kampal particularly, forget any other part. So Kampal particularly, when you see that, it's a beautifully done place. The Fontanache quarter might not be that well planned, but you see the Kampal area. Perfect example of how a city should be planned. Houses, how the houses should be laid
I
out.
mean, that's a residential area, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So even the Fontanache area, the Mala area, which we call it, is a residential area.
Commercial part was only the Panjim near the secretariat or what agencies.
There was little, today what we call MG Road, what we call 18 June Road, these were the
Only
two
those were the
parts.
commercial
No,
areas.
not even 18
Not
June
even
Road.
18 June Road.
I'll tell you, if you've seen that Mamai Kamath house, all that was a commercial capital, you can say, the commercial part. Dukle Bobe's shops.
Yeah, those areas where
So all the boats used to come on and we had, if you remember, where the Bombay docks were.
Yes. So I've seen that because I remember the childhood. We used to come to Panjim, and it was totally different. So there were streamers coming in, Bombay docks. So I don't know about the history of Goa. Goa has been a trading center always. So at the time of prior to being a state of what do you call it, Bijapur Sultanate, part of it, the Kadambas were there. Before that,
Kadambas were earlier.
Yeah, before the Kadambas, there were even more this thing. So Goa was not settled here.
Kadamba,
the Goa Vella area, which they say
no, the Kadamba capital was Chandur, which is Chandrapur that time.
Yeah, Chandor is there. Yeah, Chandor. And this place, what I am trying to tell, even before them, you see the Goa Vella area? That was a port. The original port in Goa was there. So Goa was known for trading of horses. So all the horses in India, bulk of it that used to come in, used to come through Goa.
Through Goa or through Kerala?
Through Goa. So this is the funny part. Most of India was serviced through Goa. So there's a way from Goa Villa to Old Goa. So there's a pathway built with stones on which they used to come with horses and other material and come and deliver here, and then from here it used to go on ahead. Supply route used to happen. So there is an old pathway, that heritage wall they call it. It's not a wall, it was a pathway.
Okay.
So built at that time for bringing horses from that side to here.
You know, Amit, I learned a very interesting thing. Why was there a horse trade in India? Because it seems these horses would not breed in India. They would remain celibate. Their breeding would happen in Afghanistan, I think in the Middle East somewhere. So they had to bring them for new stock.
No,
they would not breed over here. They would not give birth.
I'll tell you a difference. India had horses, but Indian horses were not used for wars.
Yeah, these were war horses.
Afghan horses were tall and built. So you see those horses. Even now, I remember when they say Afghanistan horses.
I'll come on the horses part, Paresh. So there are a couple of
Arbi
started Arbi Ghoda.
So
Arbi is not Afghanistan. It's Gulf.
I know. Arbi Ghoda they used to say. So the Arab countries, so they had the best of horses.
Yeah.
So trade was वहाँ से आते थे horses. So all the kings and all used to pay a good money to buy these horses. For that.
So
it's a very interesting
India had
story.
a very rich history of sea route trade.
Elephants were in India.
Yeah.
Elephants उनके पास नहीं थे. So when wars used to take place, there has to be a problem. Even when Babur came for the first time, he had not seen an elephant in his life.
So India used to get these Arbi Ghodas, and from there, one of India's indigenous, we call them an Indian breed now, Marwari horses.
Yes, yeah.
They are basically offshoot of Arbi horses, which bred in India or were kept. You know what used to happen is, these horses used to be brought in. Our kings were not breeders of horses. So they used to buy horses to ride, to go for war, to travel. So breeding never used to happen. It's not that they used to be celibate. And breeding requires crossing of having a proper stallion, these things.
No, but so what I read is that they wouldn't breed, these horses. They just wouldn't breed.
Not that.
I think the climate or I don't know what it is.
Everything, but more of that breeding requires them to be left alone, to be kept properly, for them to be fed. It requires a lot of time and, investment of time and this thing. So these people used to just find it cheaper to bring a horse from out, sell it here and supply it. And then they used to keep those horses. They used to go for war. A lot of horses used to get lost in that time. So the climate was such, the environment was such. They used to go through a very harsh terrain, jungles, thorns, this and that. Something used to happen. Snakes were there. There were other insects. Animals were there. Used to attack. They used to get hurt, not recover that well. So a lot of these things used to happen. The Indian breeds were more kept for carrying things.
Loads, yeah.
Loads and things. So not much of breeding used to happen of these breeds. We had some of the Pahadi breeds which were on the hilly areas of India, which were not bred in this belt. So this horse trade was which made Goa one of the most known places. And then horses used to come in and we used to take out other things from here. So other things used to go. Plus a lot of influx of other things came in from abroad. So we used to give spices and take spices. So India used to give kali miri, black pepper. Pepper used to be said worth its weight in gold.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
So that was
Pepper,
the value
indigo,
of pepper.
Indigo.
So a lot of things used to go out of Goa, and in lieu of them we used to buy horses. It was a trade used to happen. A barter trade was the system.
barter
Of course, some was gold and other things, silver and gold, and probably coins of whatever coinage. But traditionally, it was silver and gold and barter. So Goa was known for that. That is what made Goa. This is an interesting tidbit because why I'm coming from is when Goa was built by Portuguese, they left different, stamp on Goa with its unique architecture.
Yeah.
Right? People mistakenly call it a Portuguese house, probably because Portuguese ruled in India. But basically, these houses are Indian houses, Goan houses, with a mix of old Hindu style of construction, a little of taken from the other sides of India, a little Islamic influence, and of course, influence of construction from the Mediterranean area.
Yes.
So we don't have the same houses, absolute same houses there, but the color influences started coming in from the Mediterranean parts, Portugal.
But there was no choice too of the color because color was derived from four things: from yellow oxide, indigo, red oxide. So or choices nahi the you could get only three
four colors:
blue,
red, yellow, blue.
Prominently, you see in Goa these colors.
Yeah, like that's just the colors of our walls.
I have actually seen this in the you can say as late as 1972. Color नहीं मिलता था, okay, and मिलता था तो it was to be very costly. So what they used to do is to get shipleaf, ये जो मिलता है ना दरिया में.
Shellfish.
तो shells को पानी में डालते थे, they used to boil it, और उसमें से कैल्शियम निकल आता था. तो लाइम मिल जाता था उनको, लाइम वाटर मिल जाता था. लाइम वाटर मिलने के बाद they used to add this color, either indigo or red oxide. And red oxide उस time तो the best of red oxide is to come during that period.
Okay.
Because आज भी if you see जो whatever situ has been cast in situ has been done in those years
still is there.
I
agree, Paresh.
So, today's times you are not getting good.
I was just about to ask you this.
Say that again. Casting situ. What do you mean?
He is telling in technical terms. I'll tell you layman's land. You've seen floorings?
Yeah.
In those see those red color?
Yeah.
That red, bright, dark, deep red color. That is with red oxide mixed in the local plaster created at that time.
I will tell you. उस time tiles नहीं मिलते थे. Correct. So there used to be no tiles. So the poor people used to go for cow dung type of floors. The other people used to use something called IPS, which is called Indian pattern stone.
Right.
आज बोलते हैं हम उसको. उस time it was just IPS. Cement डाल के they used to do गोटाई. Now the rich could afford tiles. Now tiles तो नहीं थे. So what they used to do is take cement, white cement during that period. उसमें they used to add this blue oxide or red oxide or yellow oxide they used to add, and they used to put these marble chips inside, and then they used to put it evenly on the floor. Okay, the labor too was very good. You used to get very good labor there during that time, and then they used to polish it. So आपको एक टाइल जैसा मिलता था, एक homogeneous टाइल मिलता था. There were no small tiles. एक पूरा in between for expansion joints के लिए वो लोग पट्टी डाल देते थे, metal पट्टी डाल देते थे. Brass पट्टी.
Glass came later on. So brass used to be used a lot.
अभी even now if you go some houses in
their polish is so good till today it lasts.
The red oxide quality and the quality of the mixture at that time and the workmanship quality was so good that even some houses after 100 years you see those floorings still literally alive. Of course, maybe
I'll show you a flooring of 100-year-old house. जो आज तक absolute पैसा है जैसा
Yeah, it's a
मेरे पास है
marvel
actually.
actually
Yeah.
that
You
those
should see
floorings
some of
last for
these
so
old
long.
houses. Like you go to many of those houses, Braganza, Loyola Braganza house. You see those floorings, the way. Now another interesting tidbit. This of ours, the windows are inspired by the Portuguese window design.
Right.
Right. Those windows used to have mother of pearl oyster.
Correct.
That used to be made in cut, and then pieces of that used to be brought in and put in a particular way. It was translucent, so light could come in, and yet because they were put in a particular way, breeze also could circulate.
Yeah.
so they were double shutters.
Double shutters, absolutely.
One was the hood.
When
one was
when
this.
when there was heavy rain, the outer shutter used to be closed. So inner shutter was this for light. If you wanted privacy, you could just keep it. You'd have light, privacy, circulation would be maintained, and this is
So
how it
well
used to-
engineered.
And these were things, solutions at that time probably.
If-
Our roof designs, Paresh, I think you should be one to tell about this. The roof also used to help in keeping the house cool.
Yes.
The height used to be for that
The clay
purpose.
tiles, Bangalore tiles. They used to have two types of tiles. One was the Bangalore tiles of today, and one was called Gauti tiles. So
Which
Gauti-
are those
they-
semicircular?
Yeah, they used
Yeah.
to look like Spanish tiles. So they used to be made by locals. They used to be used. But there's heavy maintenance. Every year you have to maintain this kind of
Yeah.
pani hatches.
Because of the
Paresh,
monkeys.
So your journey, your earlier we have talked a lot on this. Let's talk of your journey. So when did you actually realize that you're going to be something to do with real estate or
No, actually, what happened is I am coming from a family which was in, of course, not directly related to construction, but in this kind of this field, something architectural field, or surveys, or right from my great grandfather. So
great grandfather also?
my the noted architect of that time, Mr. Upendra Kamath,
Okay.
he was my grandfather's mama.
Oh wow.
Huh. So, you see, most of my uncles are in this field. My dad was in this field. So, you see your father into this field. So, automatically, you are
When you say this field, what do you mean?
the construction field.
Okay.
So they were connected
something
with
related to building houses or not. He was not
Construction.
into construction.
But was a related engineer,
Yeah,
architect.
yeah. He used to do surveys and do architecture.
So great.
Plans banata tha.
So when did you realize that you're going to be in this?
You can say somewhere in second standard, you can say.
Oh, wow.
The moment I realized, I knew I am going to do this. I was very clear that I'll be this.
That's a very
and
young
us
age.
us
To
time,
be clear
we
about-
never had any other options like how young generation of today has.
What do you mean
So-
you don't have any other options?
We had only
Limited
engineering हो या medicine हो. तो medicine के लिए
वो
तो
तो
brains-
आज का ही है.
हाँ?
नहीं, now there are a lot of other
there are a lot of
choices also.
options and lot of avenues which has opened up. उस time नहीं था, it was either engineering or medical. And we were not very studious students, so brains तो medical के नहीं थे.
But engineering also requires a lot of brains. Don't be so humble.
No, I'll say I was influenced by construction. My grandfather's hand, उसके बाद में my grandfather influenced me a lot on construction. Then as I
How did
passed
he
out,
influence you? Like what happened?
he used to take me out in the evenings, show me construction being done. He used to explain to me how concrete mixer works. So, a lot of construction happen around the Miramar area, Karadale area. So, he used to show me. I remember he taking me on a site in Miramar, which is the teacher's colony today.
Okay.
I remember being on site on the slab. When I was at age, I used to study. I was in the first standard, I guess.
Oh wow.
So,
Since then you were going on sites. My God.
no, he used to take me.
Okay.
वो जाता था तो he used to take me there.
I understood. So you used to accompany them, and that probably built in your that this thing that
Then I
should
want to
do
be
this.
that. Yeah.
Okay, that's
I'm very
interesting.
passionate about.
So
construction.
you did Architecture or engineering?
नहीं, I was in the engineering field only. यही मेरा
So
college.
you did engineering.
Yes, I
Where
did.
did you study?
I studied in, first I did my this, then I did my Polytech, then I did my MI.
Sorry?
I did my engineering in government Polytech,
Oh wow.
and then I did my MI.
Okay.
What is that? MI?
AMI.
EMI.
AMI. What's
Yeah.
that?
It is the degree you get after doing diploma.
Diploma.
Okay.
So first you do a diploma, then this, then the degree comes. So
Okay.
5 at that time I think 6 years or 5 years.
No,
They used to
it
take
was,
you to get a-
it was 3 years plus 3 years.
So 6 years, right?
years. By the
So
time
that
you
time
give
it
all
was
the
6
exams
years.
of MI.
Later on they made 5 years. So 3 years of diploma, 2 years of further study used to get a degree. So then the direct degree courses also were there, which are 3-year degree courses. So that time you used to had to put in 6 years.
But
of
I was
study.
never interested in the design part. I was always interested in the
Structural part?
structure. No, I was not interested in the structural part.
Okay.
So I was always interested in the side part. I mean, the
Construction part of it. So execution part, not the
Ex-
design part.
not the design
Got
part.
it.
Not the design part.
So you loved being at the site.
I loved being at the site and doing construction more than being on the
In the
design
home
part
and
of it.
designing things.
Yeah,
So
doing
you wanted
RCC and all. I
to
was
be
very
more
much
hands-on.
interested.
More hands-on.
Maybe that's
Of course,
why
I learned RCC. But I can't. I didn't want to follow RCC.
So you didn't want to be sitting in a room and
Yeah, I didn't
designing
want to
for
be a
others.
professional.
You wanted to do it in a execute the
Execute. Yeah.
Okay,
very
so
very
interesting.
hands-on
So-
method.
So you started directly as a builder?
No, I joined Kamat Construction after my college.
Oh, Amit Construction is one of
And,
the oldest
I worked
guys.
with them for nearly 9 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
long
Especially in
Yes, I
today's
Kamat
age.
Constructions. Yeah. So again, there I was very lucky to find somebody like Mr. Ramesh Kamat, who was again a mechanical engineer, but who could put a civil engineer to
So
shame.
you studied civil engineering.
Civil engineer.
Okay.
So, as I told you, Mr. Ramesh Kamath could put a civil engineer to shame, he being a mechanical engineer. Again, when I joined him, he had that passion. He really had passion. So that rubbed on. So, 9 years I was with them. And then I became a contractor. I did contracts for about 3 to 4 years. But coming from a white collared family, I couldn't do contracts. I used to have problems doing, getting my bills, getting payments.
Why is that? I mean, from someone who is not
Because
from the field, it's very interesting.
No,
to-
what
to-
happens?
to know.
What happens is, to be a contractor, you have to be very sly. So I was not, because I was shielded by my father and mother. So I faced a little difficulties. So as a contractor, I did good works. I did very good works, but I used to have problems. People never used to pay me on time, and I was not that type who could go and sit and stop work and all this kind of thing. So I used to have difficulties. So 3-4 years I did contracts. Yeah, there were some good moments. Like I did a project for Larsen and Toubro. That is the biggest feather in my cap. I did a project for Larsen and Toubro in Porvory, the holiday homes. So I remember.
I didn't know they were into construction.
No, Larsen and Toubro had built a holiday home in
Larsen
Goa.
was the biggest contractor in
They were the biggest contractors. They had come with a tender, and I had applied. I never imagined that a small person like me will get a tender, because there were a lot of competitors. They were big.
Larsen Toubro is the one of India's biggest contractors. The bridges, primarily in India, I think majority of them.
I worked very
What, was
closely
this
with
like a
Larsen and
residential
Toubro.
project which L&T did? No.
No, Larsen and Toubro's own holiday home this was.
Yeah,
which
for
was
the company,
quite
guest
huge.
house.
I'll tell you, in the year 98, it was valued at about 1 crore 80 lakhs.
Wow.
So it was a big project for me.
Yeah,
It
wow.
was a very big project for me. And I had applied, not thinking that I'll get it. And I got it because I showed them my works.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
from what I hear, that your quality of construction is excellent.
I did so.
I think that is because you worked in Kamat's also with that
100%.
And
100%.
what
like
No,
values
no,
you.
I will
what
say,
values you brought in from
I
your
will
parents
say,
also.
I will say, it is because of being with Mr. Ramesh Kamath.
You know why I said this?
It's not-
I've seen constructions.
See,
I've seen
being
the
with
construction.
Mr. Ramesh
quality
Kamath-
of construction they do is amazing.
It was.
And also, he loved being on the site, so he could make sure that you get the right quality.
No, he was the one. I'll say. I'll give 100% credit to him.
Super.
I shudder to think if I had joined some other construction, like when I passed out of my college, my mama had taken me to two offices. One was, I don't name them, and Kamat's. So that time I didn't know. I looked at Kamat's office. I liked Kamat's office and the AC, and I said I'd like to join Kamat's. And that was the biggest and the best decision of my life because
of the AC.
Ramesh Kamath was there, and he was a big influence. Whatever we did,
Yeah.
he used to give us books to study. I did a project where there was an engineer who said, "I would like you to do." That time they never used to check plumbing lines.
Okay.
Now they do pressure testing, So pressure testing was never done that time during those times. So
Interesting.
the person who was doing it, I used to handle 2-3 buildings at a time. So he said, I will want you to do pressure testing. So I went to Mr. Kamath and I said, Ramesh bhai, this is what they are telling me. He said, "Look kar mare tu." And I said, "Machine." He said, "I am going to Bombay tomorrow. I'll go to Nagdevi Street and get you the machine. In next 4 days, there is a machine on my site." So you see, very few people do this. And I remember doing the plumbing, checking the plumbing with pressure systems. So whatever we used to tell him, he used to give us books. He used to get Remedios, Mr. AP Remedios, who was called the father of concrete technology, was a member of IS. He used to come to train us. So nowhere else say any construction company was doing this, which Ramesh Kamath did for us. So we were trained totally by him. I left Kamath's in 96, 97, and then my first project when I got my first project, I left Kamath's because I didn't want to have clash of interest, Since I am taken a contract, I told Ramesh bhai I want to leave because tomorrow he had given me an option. He told me, you stay with me, you do that work. But I knew very well if I do that, there'll be doubts, So I told him no, so I'll leave. And that was my first project. I remember getting a check of 2 lakhs as a advance. 2 lakhs was a big amount that time. This project I did was just next to Marriott's, on the way to Marriott's.
Yep.
So that was my first contract. Then I did Ford showroom and Honda showroom for Mr. Kakule, Manoj Kakule. That entire Kakulo enclave, except for the first building I had done. And I stopped construction in 2000, contracts in 2001, and started doing my own projects. They were small projects. So the first project I did was a project in Karangal. It's called Mandvi Bayside. Mandvi was the name of my construction. My
Company.
As a builder, it was Mandvi. And slowly I started doing projects, 8 flats, 10 flats, 15 flats. Then I did a project by the name Heritage. And I did another few projects in that name. Old projects, small projects. Then my biggest project of Heritage was in Ponda. The one which has come on the bus stand. It's called Heritage Princess. It is my biggest project which I sat on the table, negotiated. Soon I found a partner who came in my life, and again he was like an elder brother to me. Same type of passion what Mr. Ramesh Kamath had. When I discuss money with him, and he never has told me कि ये मत करो, पैसा ज़्यादा लग रहा है, ये ऐसा करो, वैसा करो. He was totally with me. Just I remember once going to him and telling him, instead of tiles in the corridors, I would like to go for granite. And mind you, the tiles that time were costing around 250 to 300 rupees. And granite was costing you 130 rupees. So just say 30 rupees to 130 rupees. See the jump.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you said tiles costed how much?
It was about 300 rupees per square meter. So 30 rupees, nearly 30 rupees per square feet.
Okay.
And granite was about 130 rupees to 140 rupees per square feet.
Yes.
So again, it's a big jump. But he was like, you want to do it, do it. So we started going for granites in the lobbies. Slowly, we decided we should now, change our style of construction. We changed our architects. And we went for good elevations.
Aesthetics, basically.
Aesthetics, yeah, it's a need
Good
of the hour.
aesthetics.
It is a need of the hour. And we did a lot of projects with good elevations.
Exotica was
We
one
go,
of one of
I should
beautiful
name.
projects.
Huh?
I think your project Exotica
Yes,
was
so
one
I
of
should
those
also
beautiful
name
projects.
Team 2 here. They were also
Team 2 Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Oh,
So some designs which they gave us, of course we did the work,
okay.
but even they were instrumental, and that is how we grew. And today we are doing two projects at a time, but we see to it that we totally give ourselves to the project. Each and smallest of small detailing is done by us.
From working at a place to being where you are at Second Homes. So I think Heritage made a very good mark on Second Homes, especially, you know what I call Second Homes are homes that you rent out where you come to stay for holidays and you give on rental, which gives you ROI. I think you along with a couple of other owned companies were pioneers in it. And
This
today
follows.
you have made a solid mark. Very few are there in this point data,
Yeah, but-
at least from Goa. Now the VC companies coming from out and doing it, but your company, along with a couple of other companies, were pioneers probably in this.
Yeah, I'll not say that we are pioneers, but see, even when we did our first project in the second home market, as you call it, we never thought that people are going to come and rent out. Slowly, they started doing it. So the first project we actually planned for rentals is Heritage the Bosque, which we are doing right now, which is nearly 60-70% complete. So that is the first project we have planned as a project which will be bought by clients and given on rent.
Yeah, like
So
an Airbnb or
Gee,
long term.
yeah.
Those were serviced kind of.
Exactly. So
apartments.
there we have seen to it that we have covered everything. Like we have got a laundrette, we have a small restaurant inside. Of course, not a commercial restaurant, but somewhere where somebody can have their breakfast. So these things were planned.
You also have put in a theatre there, right?
We had a theatre, but we had to remove it because in today's time suddenly there is a revolution where everybody gets everything on their phones.
On their phones, on TV.
So that was not working out.
So you basically, because of COVID, you
Yes.
changed the theatre thing.
So we have other things. So theatre was removed, but other things are there, of course. A lot of things are there.
Okay.
So, sir, if I may ask you, you have become quite successful in this field. What would you say is the key to your success?
Okay, see, success is something which you don't try for. You do your work, and if you do your work, with passion, okay, with integrity, people like it. People come to you. Like see, you will not see a hoarding of mine anywhere, but we are selling because people talk to each other. People send us client. You are happy. So that is what you call success ultimately.
Beautiful.
So what you have to do is you have to do your overwork. You have to see that you make mistakes in a project. You have to see to it that the mistakes are not repeated in the next project.
Got it.
So that is how you.
You know what you just said reminded me something. When I was a kid, I was gifted on my birthday a mug of that. Peanuts used to come at that time. That
cartoon?
comic
Yeah.
strip. So it had Snoopy or what is his name, and that bird, pilot bird there. So it had a thing written on it. Don't repeat your mistakes. Find new ones. So basically, you're saying the same thing. You should not repeat your mistakes. Of course, mistakes will happen. They
But
keep
keep
on
trying.
happening.
Will happen.
You have to rectify them as they happen, and you have to tackle them and ensure that you don't repeat the
I
mistakes.
have always rectified mistakes. Smallest of mistakes. Some mistakes I have myself noted. Some mistakes, there have been clients who have come to me and told me that see, this is a mistake which you have done in your project.
Yep.
So I have been kind to get the best of clientele. My clientele has been very good, touch wood. It's been God's blessings. And we have been delivering, we have been doing. So I'll say my ex-boss, Mr. Kamath, used to always tell me, the correct way to check a builder is go to his project after 4 years of completion. तू जर थंय जर झगडी पळयली ना, then you are a successful man. And that's exactly what it is. झगडी पळयली ना म्हटल्यार कितें, you do your work on time, you do good work, you do your sale leads, you do your society, and see that the society is in proper hands, and then leave them. So, there will be no problems in your societies. Yeah, the other things like model of maintenance, we keep on changing. Like we had started with a model of maintenance in one project of ours. Slowly we have been changing. We have been trying to do trial and error. We have reached in the new boss. We have reached such a stage where we are saying that 2 years of maintenance will be done by us, and the money which we are going to collect from you will be handed over to the society on day one. The entire money will be handed over to you, so there will be no deductions at all.
Superb. So first
And
2
all the
years
money
is
will
free.
remain there. So the day you are selling your flat, you get your money back.
So the basically, or the maintenance deposit which they give, or security deposit for maintenance, which they give, will be not touched for the first 2 years at all.
Absolutely. It will not
That's
be
a
touched.
superb thing. This is
Yes.
I
So,
don't think
by
anybody
trial
else
and
have
error
heard.
we have tried to do it. This we have tried to, and we have been fairly successful at this.
This is
So I'm
a,
just going to
maybe-
change gears a little bit. You've been raised in Goa, you've been educated, and you now live and work and do your business in Goa. How has been life in Goa? What has been? What are the things that you would take away from your time here? Would you want to live in another city? Would you like to move abroad?
Goa is a bad habit.
It's a bad
A person who has stayed in Goa will never want to go. I'll just tell you my case. I was in Bangalore 3 days back, and I was supposed to go there on Friday morning and come back on Saturday evening. I finished my work on Friday, and I changed my ticket to Saturday early morning and came back to Goa. Because Goa is something when you come back to, it's changing. Things are changing for the worse as as rates are increasing. Vulturism has stepped in, but that's a part which you have to face. But otherwise, there's nothing like Goa.
What do you like about being here?
Everything, the people, the warmth. Of course, I stay on the beach, so I don't have a craze for beaches. You'll say everything. You want to be alone, you can just start your car, go to one place and you're alone there,
That's
which
so
is not
true.
possible in Bombay or Bangalore.
see,
Or
Goa
any-
is known for its beaches, but I'll tell you, Ryan, the amount of greenery Goa has, people don't know that they are blessed.
Yes. You go
Goa has
to
got 80% reserve green cover. You know that?
green cover, exactly.
So it's an amazing thing. I'm not talking
You
of
go
forest.
to Mole, you go to Kole, you go for treks. You will understand what I'm trying to say. Sadly, our government has not done anything on this. They are only hyping the beaches and the carnivals and the.
I think now they are working on
but
promoting the
they're
hinterlands.
Yes, but the hinterlands which Goa has,
Absolutely stunning.
absolutely stunning.
I came back to Goa 17 years back. It was rains was just starting at that time.
Yep.
I hired a gypsy, went roaming. I've done south, north, east, west, complete all parts of Goa. I drove in that gypsy, or sometimes I had to get a car. The gypsy was not available. Inside hinterlands, the beauty of Goa is so stunning.
You go to
that
Diwar, you go to any islands in
Well,
Goa.
I have some land in Diwar, personal use.
The problem is the planning which has happened. That is the only sad thing. They should have controlled the planning a little, the way some people build.
I think, Paresh, this has been a common this thing of people like you and me who discuss this a lot. I wish people who are involved in real estate should be more involved by, not bureaucrats. Planning should require people who are hands-on.
No, but it has nothing to do
Aesthetics.
with it.
Aesthetics. Goan, norms of construction.
It costs.
It does
some
cost.
people want to save money. It costs. I can tell you.
It does cost.
It costs.
You're saying it costs to build aesthetically.
Naturally.
No, but I'll tell you a
Naturally.
thing, Paresh. The quality of life that aesthetics brings to you back pays you back very fast.
So resale value.
Not only resale
everything
value,
which people
even the normal daily life that you live. When you live in a house that pleases you, when it is just certain things, better lighting norms,
Yeah.
better, planning of views, greeneries, air circulation, all those get so much value to your life, the way you live.
Actually,
I
people
think
don't
is-
realize this. What you're saying is so true.
I'll give a small example. I've gone for cobblestones in one of my projects. So, कभी सोचा नहीं था. That day I was in Bangalore, as I told you. One client told me, "Sir, आपके project में उस दिन गया था गाड़ी लेके, and when I was driving on the cobblestones, वो जो आवाज जो आ रहा था गड़ 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 गड़, that was giving me a, you know, so it pays.
Giving you a what?
It was giving him a high.
Oh, yeah?
The
You're liking it.
rumbling effect which he was getting.
Yeah.
You feel like you are in Spain or you are in a Mediterranean city.
I'll tell you, Paresh, how old is Floresta of yours?
Floresta is about 6 years old.
So I don't think you've gone there. I've been there quite a few times. So Floresta, the pool, the way it was designed in the center, the way the place is
The
designed,
water, the surface water collection,
yes,
rainwater which is collected, we are not sending it on the road. We have got our own drainage system. I talked about those cans,
Yep.
There were cans on both sides.
Oh, really? Wow.
So over there. So you will not see a puddle of water in the range and in the project.
Yes.
So this has been planned. This has been hard work. We have to stay there ourselves. You leave it to people, they will not care. So you have to take.
I've seen the way you have designed electrical wires going to the meter room.
Yeah.
I've seen the plumbing, the way you plan it out. So I think this all came from your learning. However, I think you go the extra mile. That is why you've got repeat clients
You
coming
have
in.
to.
So
And you are not doing anybody a favor. Let me be clear. You are not doing anybody a favor when you are doing these things. People notice it and they buy with you. So you are getting your rewards.
Yep.
So your flats are selling. When people tell you this, you get a high. Like I told you, somebody from Delhi the other day. So you get a high when somebody is buying from you. See, let me tell you, a person on the road when he tells me, no, tujhe kaam bhare dala mare, I don't take him seriously. But one person who has already bought a flat from me, buys another flat from me, that is the time I have a high. Because now I know that man has put his money. He's not
again, not once, but again, that is
the time you get a
endorsement
high.
of your work.
Because anybody on the road can tell you, "Bora gala mare project is because he wants to butter you. But the moment he's upset with you, the same person will talk bad things about you and your project. So it doesn't make a difference to you. It shouldn't make a difference to you. But when a person who has already bought and he buys, so that has happened with us a number of times. Many of our clientele has purchased flats and they have again gone and purchased flats further.
Is Heritage Floresta in Seolim? Is that the one?
Yeah, it's in
Yes,
Seoul.
yes.
It's on the border of Seoul actually. It's in Kuchiling.
Border of Marna and Seolim.
Seoul.
Yeah. So, tell us, you said you love the people of Goa. So, tell us a little bit about the culture and the people of Goa, which makes a difference to your
People
life.
of Goa, again, I have to add a sentence here. The people of Goa, of course, no doubt, they were the best. But things are changing now. So, the same people who are very good, you can see certain vulturism coming in, creeping in. So, yes, but overall, things are good. People are good.
I think, you're talking of the warmth and inclusiveness being a little lost in the commercialization that is happening.
But that is what I see in most parts of
Yes,
India.
so this is what happens with,
Yeah,
when
India-
populations grow, when development happens, it does. But I think, Paresh, people like you, and you who work in Goa, who love Goa, you set examples of inclusiveness, of warmth. What sets Goa apart from any place which has got a coastline? India has got beautiful coastlines. Why is Goa? It's because of its people.
I'll tell you, it's not only because of the people, even the beaches were very clean till some years ago. Nowadays, they have started taking a beating. I have seen the Marina Beach, how dirty it is compared to our Goan beaches.
Absolutely.
Our Goan beaches were absolutely clean till some time ago.
No, I think now also they do daily cleaning and it's quite
Yeah,
clean.
but
Like even
I've been
Kalangut,
seeing
Baga
Baga and all,
very-
and it hurts you when you see it. It is.
Baga, sad part. I tend to agree with Paresh on this. Baga
But
and
they do have
Kalangut,
daily cleanups with the vehicles come and clean,
But what
sweep the
happens
entire
is,
beach.
despite that, see, there are a lot of efforts being done by the
You have
government.
not seen place that Donapal has just been opened to public. So
Just
I've never
see
been.
how
I've
it
not
has
been to
happened
Donapal.
recently.
the way some people are throwing plates there, dirt there.
But I think that is down to
People should understand.
the
last mile
public
tourism.
not understanding cleanliness.
Even our project, I'll tell you, there are people whom I have personally seen throwing cigarette butts. You can't do anything to such
I'll
people.
tell you something. I was at a shoot, okay, and this big actor, Goan guy, I'm not going to name him. He was drinking a bottle of water. The shoot got over. He immediately took that plastic bottle of water and threw it on the floor. And I thought to myself, how sad is this? If people that we are supposed to look up to, actors and things like that, don't understand what cleanliness means, then think about the layman, think about the middle class or forget the middle class, the poor people. They have zero concern.
You know, Ryan, I used to get wild when I used to see people throwing bottles from their cars, or I used to earlier pick up when I was a little 10 years back or something, just picking up, and I used to go and toss it back into the car.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's led to heated arguments.
नहीं, but मैं देखता हूँ अपने father mother को
don't
देख के
understand.
हाँ
And they think, यार, what the hell, यार, क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है? So this attitude of people is, they think Goa hai, or forget Goa, even in the hometowns where they stay, I don't think we have been able to get people to imbibe cleanliness and maintenance of the environments. It is happening. I think it will come soon. But we require to do more on it.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
any person coming into Goa should be made to understand that what Goa has to be maintained.
I think what should
message
happen,
should go out.
as soon as they enter Goa,
yes.
they should be sat
Given-
for a 1 hour lecture.
No,
What you need to do to be clean.
I don't think that will work. But
No, I'm telling you.
it is upbringing.
Yeah, but
I have seen-
you
I
can't
have-
change the
No,
upbringing,
Paresh,
but you can
Paresh,
educate
let
now.
me tell you one thing. See, let us not talk about upbringing. Let me tell you why. We Indians, when we go to Singapore, would you even dare throw a bottle there?
डर है ना
So, ये डर किसका है? That yes, action will happen against us if we do this. So we have
that
to
is
bring
later.
that fear
That's the
in.
later part.
So sadly, I know what I am saying might sound a little wrong. We have to have a stricter implementation of people who abuse Goa.
Yeah.
There are certain things that we require that should not be, encouraged in Goa, which are happening. A lot of cultures that have been brought in, which are non-Goan. So, government also has to think. We all,
this
as
is a
people in
different
Goa,
topic and,
have to think about our future.
Yeah.
And I think we made a wrong turning towards mass. Instead of that, if we kept towards class tourism, class constructions, class things with aesthetics, everything is required. But
Absolutely.
we have to have some norms in, and implementation of norms and teeth when people break those norms should be there. It should not be that I know you, so I can escape from it.
When the RTO rules were framed, there were many people who came and said, "No, ये हमका परवड़ना rates, the fines we are talking about." And the government was trying to, the opposition came and said, "Oh, yeah, you should lower it." First and foremost, when you say fine maka parvanda means you are trying to say that means I want to repeat these mistakes. I am going to be an offender. So maka parvanda. Instead of that, you should be saying, no, keep it that much. I am not going to make this mistake and I am not going to pay.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely, Paresh.
when our opposition themselves were coming on the roads and they were talking about how this, common man cannot afford it, means they were trying to tell the common man, you are supposed to make a mistake. We are going to lower that for you so that you can afford it.
I agree what you're saying completely.
So, as long as rules are not framed, of course, rules are there in our country. They are not being followed. There are no
Not been
deterrents.
implemented.
Then there are no deterrents. You have to be
Deterrents have to
strict.
be there.
You give me a penalty.
Yep.
And give me a big penalty, which it pinches me. Next time I'll never do that mistake again.
Yep.
You tell me to pay 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees nothing. You're going to pay. 1,000 rupees might be something for somebody. But for me, 1,000 rupees I can easily pay him. Why should I not make the mistake?
But Paresh, when things get pinched, when you get...
So give me 50,000, no? I'll never do it in my life.
Not necessary.
Give me 1 lakh.
See, I don't think it's necessary to have a monetary penalty. I think even more than monetary, it may be a time penalty. That if you do this, you will have to go here and
Community
do this
service
for these many days or hours, and then you... Nowadays, time is becoming
It can be managed. In India, it can be managed.
So, see, we can't make, assumptions on things will be managed.
No,
You
they
have to
can be
make rules
managed.
in
They
good
can be
faith.
managed. If I get a penalty tomorrow that I have to give my so much time in Sochi, I can go and easily get that, the game मैंने कर दिया without actually doing it.
No,
Well, sir,
what I
I
meant
think
is,
this is-
Paresh, we have to have things which are implemented properly, not managed. So once we get that system in, only then will people learn.
Yeah, it's a
And
very
I
important.
think it's an
part of
important
it.
thing. Why can we go to Singapore and not litter there?
Yeah.
Why can't we not litter in Goa? Why can't we make it a culture that we don't throw things on the road? Of course, there are certain facilities which are not there. Maybe lack of toilets, common facilities, which force people to go and
No, but now toilets are being made. But look at the way people are
maintaining them or using them.
You don't use them properly.
Well,
They
sir-
split on everything. I have seen. Someone was telling me the other day. I'll just say this. And there's a big politician from the north who stays in Goa. And the entire people in the building is having a problem with him because it seems he comes out and splits in the lobby. He eats a pan and he splits in the lobby. And the people cannot do anything about it and throws his weight around. It's a fact. So the people of the building are so upset with him that they can't do anything about it. So as long as we have got lawmakers who are doing this, what can we do about the people?
The sad part, but I think slowly awareness is happening, and I hope things will turn for the better very soon. Let us hope for the best
Yep.
and
And I think
work
Amit,
for preserving what is
what
Goa.
we are doing, discussing these things, bringing more awareness to it, will make a difference in society.
Hopefully, even if one person gets, inspired not to litter by this, it will have done its work. So let us hope that it does.
Yeah.
And thank you, Paresh, for being here. Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
spending your time, your knowledge, your sharing your experiences with us. Thanks a lot.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much from
Thank you.
Amit and myself.
Thank you. And pleasure was all mine, as I said so. And thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Susegaad Musings. Stay tuned for the release of the next episode of Susegaad Musings exactly in 1 week. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other podcasting platform. Watch us on our YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram and Facebook @Susegaad Musings. Susegaad Musings is brought to you by Amit Chopra and me myself, Ryan Lobo. I will see you in the next episode.